Okay, this is gonna be my summary of the Sandy Hook massacre. Massacre. I am aware of the irony of the surroundings. It is Christmas. I can't help myself. I had a half day today, so I have this time available, and I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do a very, very brief summary of 1, 2, 3 through the events, as quick as possible. I've outlined some bullet points that I want to discuss briefly with you, and I am going to give you my professional opinion of what I think the warning signs are in this report. This is not the report. This is a very, very, very edited, cut down with holes in it summary of the report. Yeah. We're also not going to debate gun control versus gun rights, NRA versus Brady campaign, because this is not about that. Now, he took a .22 caliber Savage Mark II rifle and he shot his mother in her bed in the home. It's believed she was asleep. She might have been half asleep, but she was in her bed. Now, a .22 caliber bullet will not stop a 300-pound man when he's full of adrenaline in his tracks. But if you hit someone in the wrong spot with it, it will be fatal, no question about it. It may take a long time, but it will be fatal. Odds are you're laying in bed. Odds are you're either asleep or 80% asleep or in and out. So odds are you're a little on the defensive side. I mean, this was an assassination. He didn't get her when she was awake. He didn't get her when she was cleaning a gun. He didn't get her when he was at the range. He got her when she was in bed. Okay, this is a well-timed assassination. He then went to Sandy Hook Elementary School in her vehicle, but vehicle registered to her. They might have called it his, but it was registered to her. Shot through the door. Okay, he shot and killed the principal and the school psychologist. They were believed to be in the north hallway, and they heard a noise and they came running. Obviously, you hear a noise, you're going to come running, but from now on, maybe we should just be a little more careful how we run. Should I run out or should I peek from behind the door? But they heard a noise. They probably thought it was a car accident. They probably thought it was a car crashing through the door. They probably thought someone was drunk. They probably thought someone had a very serious problem. There could have been a fire. They responded to a noise. We've all done it. They believe he injured 2 other staff members in the hallway area. He then went to the main office, gave a quick look around. He either didn't see or ignored people hiding under desks or in little holes. Don't forget, a lot of these guys, they want to leave survivors, maybe because they might know you personally, and they might say, okay, I'll let you live. That happened a lot at Columbine. The guy's like, all right, fine, you go. Just go. Run away. Before I run away. Go. A lot of the time, they want notoriety, and no survivors means no story. It's part of their power in some cases to let you live and let you recount your horror, nightmares, rest of your life, trauma, and tell the world how terrifying you are and how evil you are, how evil they are. They want notoriety, so he might have seen them and ignored them and left them alive on purpose. We'll never know. He then walked down the hallway, which he just came from, into classroom 8 and classroom 10. We don't know which order it was in, but I think he was in classroom 10. I'll tell you why in a minute. He killed 2 adults in each room, 15 children in classroom 8 and 5 in classroom 10. All the killings were done with the Bushmaster AR rifle. 12 children survived. 1 from classroom 8 and 11 from classroom 10. So he then took his own life with a single shot from a Glock 20 10mm in classroom 10. Okay, I believe that he went to classroom 8 first, then to 10, and then killed himself. I don't believe he went into 10, killed, went into 8, killed, and then went back to 10. I believe he killed himself where he was. In fewer than 11 minutes, 20 first grade pupils and 6 adults were killed. Within 4 minutes, the 911 call was received and police arrived. So 911, usually the best chance for 911 is 6 minutes. This cop is good. He must have been on the block. First cop was on the scene in 4 minutes. That's very, very good timing. 5 minutes later, no. Okay. They believe the first officer arrived, and as he was coming into the school, he shot himself. Okay, the officer might have actually heard the gunshot. 6 minutes. About 6 minutes later, more police arrived. They entered the building. Once it was determined that the car was registered to the mother, they went to his house. They evacuated the surrounding homes, and they went into the residence to look for booby traps and tripwires. Now, this is coming directly from James Holmes, the Aurora shooter. James Holmes rigged his apartment with so many booby traps that the head explosive expert was an Army veteran who served in the Afghan theater and the Iraq theater. And he said, "This is the worst I've seen." Also, with the Jim Holmes case, a neighbor heard a noise, heard a lot of racket at your neighbor's house, and he said, "Miss man, turn the volume down." Okay, Jim Holmes' neighbor heard a lot of noise from inside the apartment, saw the door opened a little bit, and was going to open it and go in. They later realized that had she just opened the door and went in, she would have been killed by a booby trap bomb. So these guys were thinking of James Holmes. They were very, very careful about bombs, booby traps, poison. It's a sick world, man. It's a sick world. They found a GPS device located in his bedroom, which had various routes programmed into the recent history. They believed it was purchased for him, probably by his mother, we don't know. The routes that he programmed into the GPS were a local theater where he played Dance Dance Revolution in the public arcade. He had been to some schools, including Sandy Hook, obviously. Now, these were numerous video games located in the basement, the computer rooms, gaming areas, other stuff like that. Left 4 Dead, Metal Gear Solid, Dead Rising, Half-Life, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Shin Megami Tensei, whatever the frick it is, Dynasty Warriors, Vice City, Team Fortress, and Doom. These are PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, online, various platforms. Online first-person shooter games, Combat Arms, World of Witchcraft. I'm going to skip his stuff by being in elementary school, because the elementary school report is he was in 5th grade and didn't notice anything wrong. One thing I will mention, he did a writing assignment many years ago where Big Book of Granny, in which the main character was an old lady with a cane gun, and she shot people. And it includes violence against children. Now, you know how it is when you're a little kid. There's always that one mean little old lady that you know, and you're afraid she's going to eat you alive, and she has dead children in her house, and all that fantasy stuff the little 3rd graders think about. Yeah. Now, when I was a kid, I wrote a story when I was in 2nd grade where me and my cousin went into a bar, and an evil clown kidnapped us, and I broke free and killed the clown. Yeah. I mean, so I wrote a couple of creative stories when I was a kid. Some of them were bordering on violent. I like horror movies, I like action movies. So it's not that big of a deal, but that's the only thing that I see from his childhood. Tech Club. This will just get lost in emotion here. He had a check from his mother for Christmas to purchase a CZ-83. Now, he was 20 years old, so he legally couldn't own a handgun until he was 21. I don't know how to say with a clock, I'm sorry. But maybe his mother was going to buy the handgun for him and say, this is yours, we'll call it yours until you're 21. A lot of parents do that with their kids. They buy their kid a .22 rifle when they're 10 years old. And legally, it's the parents' rifle, not the kids. You buy your kid a car when he's 16. Legally, it's not his car, it's your car. Okay. A New York Times article from February 18th, 2008. School shooting at Northern Illinois University. 3 photographs of what appear to be a dead human covered in blood wrapped in plastic. The book Amish Grace, which is about the Amish schoolhouse shooting. Photocopied newspaper articles from 1891 pertaining to the shooting of children. He actually found newspaper articles from 1891. So, a lot of people did interview had no idea he was a psychopath. He was very, very interested in mass shootings, Columbine. He had an interest in firearms. We all have interest in firearms, all of us on this channel do. He had a spreadsheet of mass murders over years listing information about each shooting. Mass shootings, mass murders. He had hard drive and memory cards of he had bookmarks in his online history pertaining to firearms, military, politics, mass murder, video games, music, books, Army Ranger, computers and programs, ammunition, candy, economic books. So he had other interests besides killing people, candy, Dance Revolution. He had 2 videos showing suicide by gunshot. Now, what is the purpose of you learning how to kill yourself with a gun? Unless you are a special forces operator going behind enemy lines on a covert mission and you're deathly afraid that if I'm captured, I'd rather kill myself than be tortured to death. Okay? Unless you are that type of person, I personally would be freaked out by you learning how to kill yourself. Do I know how to kill myself? Well, yeah, but that's because I've seen documentation where David Koresh was telling kids how to do it. I've seen reports where people did it. Okay, I've seen suicide reports, I've seen homicide reports, my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, criminal justice. Okay, so I've seen a lot of things pertaining to murder and suicide, but I don't have a home video in my room of learning how to shoot myself in the head with a gun. That's a very, very, very major red flag right there. I don't know if his mother knew about it, I don't know if his friends knew about it, but if you know some guy that has a video in his room explaining how to properly kill yourself with a gun, or that's a very, very bad thing. Commercial movies predicting the mass shootings. They didn't specify what movies. This could be a fictional movie that portrays a fictional shooting. It could be a recreation of an actual shooting, like a recreation of Columbine. But he had several movies about mass shootings. I'm sorry. They didn't specify whether the movies were actual shootings reenacted or fictional shootings. A bootleg computer game entitled School Shooting, where the player controls a character who went to the school and shoots the students. Now, if you look at the NRA video of Wayne LaPierre talking about police God put armed guards in schools, there's one version of the video that does a pan back and shows a giant jumbo screen behind Mr. LaPierre, which has a bootleg video game of kids killing each other. Kindergarten Killers, it's called. But most video transcripts of that interview, of that speech, show Mr. LaPierre up close, and they don't show the actual killings on the screen. Now, we've all played violent video games. Okay? Mortal Kombat. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while. I haven't played video games in years, but look up Mortal Kombat 9 fatalities on YouTube. When I was a kid, I bought my cousin's copy of Dungeons and Dragons for the regular Nintendo. He's my older cousin. Now, Double Dragon had 2 games on it. One game was the hero is fighting his evil twin brother, who was a crime lord, and he has to run through the streets and beat up his brother's henchmen and kill his brother's henchmen. The other version of the game, the other was a fighting game. It was like a bootleg early copy of Mortal Kombat, where you have two fighters squaring off in a one-on-one match, and you can also select an option where there's a weapon on the ground, and you got the two men fighting each other standing, and one of them can pick up the weapon and they can slash and stab and bludgeon each other, and little bits of red blur, which is blood, came across the screen. That was in the late 1980s. Okay, so this concept of violent video games has been out for a while. Now, if you were to put every single young person under surveillance who played violent video games, you would be surveilling most of the boys and some of the girls from the younger part of Generation Y, including my own older nephews. But what is the reason for you to play a video game where you kill children? At least in Mortal Kombat, you're an adult fighting an adult, or a demon fighting a demon, or these violent games you play where you got the guy with the M16 goes behind enemy lines to kill the Taliban, and it's adult versus adult. But what reason is there for you to play a game where you go to a school and kill children? In theory, according to the First Amendment, that's legal. Okay? You can't put me in jail if I'm sitting down playing a video game where I'm killing children. But that is a major, major red flag. I cannot stress that enough. A major red flag. Screen 172 screenshots of combat arms. A screenshot means you have a camera inside your computer or inside your television, and you take a picture of what's on the screen. For those that don't know. Yeah, Dance Evolution, screenshots, shooting DDR, I don't know what that means, but images of shooters holding handgun to head, images of a shooter holding a rifle to his head, meaning himself. When was the last time you took a picture of yourself holding a gun to your head? A real gun, not when you're 2 years old with your Nerf gun, a real gun. You took a real gun, unloaded it, hopefully, and put it to your head. When was the last time that happened? A 5-second video dramatization of children being shot. Okay, image of the shooter with rifle and shotguns and magazines. Let's face it, how many of us pose with our guns? All of us. That's not a red flag, but the others are. Okay, he was looking at the Amish schoolhouse shootings, the Columbine shootings. He had documents on a spreadsheet related to prerequisites for a mass shooting. I'm going to go to school and I'm going to kill a whole bunch of kids. What do I need? Gun, maybe a smoke grenade or a pipe bomb. If I'm going to go to a school and I'm going to kill a whole bunch of kids, what do I need? Carefully planned out. Okay? Spreadsheet listing mass murderers, mass murderers by name, information of the incident. Mass murder could be Bonnie and Clyde. Mass murder could be Charlie Starkweather. Mass murder could be Charles Manson. Mass murder could be Dylan Cleveland and Eric Harris. We don't know. But he was very, very interested in that stuff. Okay, we're coming to the end here. Okay. Here you go. Materials regarding the topic of pedophilia and advocating for the rights of pedophiles. No child pornography though. Large amounts of materials of the Columbine or the mass murders, blah blah blah. Large amounts of materials on firearms, comedy videos, music, images of hamsters, Legos. Here are more of the video games. Okay. Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1, Call of Duty, Finest Hour, Dead or Alive 3, Halo, Halo 2, Lego Star Wars, Mech Assault, Mercenaries, MGS2 substance, Panzer Dragoon ORAT, ORATA, PSO, Shamula 2, Spider-Man, Splinter Cell 2, Splinter Cell SCT, Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Republic Commando, Tenchu Return from Darkness, Return of the King, and Worms Forts Under Siege. Those are more of the video games. Listen to a different section. The report was not done the way I would have done it, but we all have our own writing style. Okay. I pretty much verbally said problem when I saw problem. Now, video games, we all have video games. Well, I don't play them that much anymore, at all rather, but let's face it, we've all done that, okay? But like I said, why does he have so many spreadsheets about mass murders? Why does he have a spreadsheet about what I need to bring to a mass shooting? Okay, now, you have researchers, and I mean researchers like as in professors, psychologists, detectives, okay? Mark Furman wrote Murder in Brentwood about the OJ murder. Murder in Greenwich about the Martha Moxie murder. And Vince Bugliosi wrote Helter Skelter. Probably the greatest true crime book ever written. Okay, so when you have a researcher, a professional, Mark Furman was a detective. He has a filthy mouth, but he was a great detective. Vince Bugliosi and I, even though he has a wonderful first name, Vince Bugliosi and I disagree politically, but he was a great prosecutor. He prosecuted the main part of the Manson family. There were several cases related to Manson. He prosecuted the main case. Okay? But we have highly trained professionals in this world whose job it is to study these things. So if I were to go over to a retired detective's office and I were to see a stack of papers this high about mass murders, I'd be like, hey, you write a book about mass murder, let me read it when it comes out. Okay? I won't think anything of it. If you had a college student who was doing criminal justice or psychology and they were studying rapists or killers or, I mean, I've done domestic violence, I did a lot of things. Did a report on cocaine use. Okay, so I've looked into drugs, prostitution, domestic violence, murder, suicide. I've researched it all. Okay, I have researched it all. But if there's a guy who's not a professional person, he's not a college student studying that, he's not a police officer, you might want to be suspicious. Not a professional writer like James Patterson. Okay, I'd be suspicious about what materials he's reading. I would be, what's up with this? But like I said, the school shooting video game, the gun to the head, how do I commit suicide, how do I go to school and kill everybody, the pedophilia thing scares me. A lot of people study pedophilia, but he was studying one of those rights groups that wants to make pedophilia legal. There are a lot of rights groups out there, rights groups, that want it to be legal for you to have, a 35-year-old man marry a 9-year-old boy. Okay, what reason is that? Okay, now, you could go to, I don't know how much his mother knew, or how much he should have known, but I'll tell you one thing, I'm 31 years old, my mother still knows what I do. I have siblings that are 23 and 24 and 16 years older than me. Our father still knows what we do. Okay? So, especially when you're living in their house. So you got your 20-year-old kid living in your house. Yes, he's over 18 and he's legally an adult, but your house, your roof. Okay? You can go in and be like, what's going on here? Cleveland and Harris. Cleveland and Harris's parents. Okay? Why do you have so many pipe bombs in your room? Why do you have an illegally modified Class 3 weapon in your room? You're on probation. You shouldn't have that gun. Why does your journal say you want to kill all these people? Okay? There are certain things that we don't know we should know. Now, many people have said that Mrs. Lanza knew her son was a psychopath. Question. You know your son is a psychopath. And you are trying desperately. You know your son's a psychopath, and you're trying desperately to get him help. Why are you teaching about guns? I'm the first person to say teach your kid about gun safety. But why are you teaching a kid about gun safety if you are not satisfied about his mental state? Could Adam Lanza have gotten the guns anyway? Probably. He could have stolen the guns from a gun shop in the middle of the night. He could have broke into the neighbor's house and stole the neighbor's hunting rifle. He could have killed a police officer, took his gun. He could have did a lot of things. He could have made a bomb. You can go on the internet right now. I can go on the internet right now and I can find you 1,000 bombs on how to make. I can teach you how to make a bomb with the stuff in your medicine cabinet practically. Okay, so there's almost Adam Lanza could have took the car, drove to school, and ran the kids over and killed more kids that way, believe it or not. But do you have to play into their hands? Do you have to teach them how to use a gun? Understand this. I have an armed guards license. I have a security license. I have a criminal justice associate's degree, a criminal justice bachelor's degree. I work for my local police department now. I know 1,000 ways to kill somebody. But I have the mental stability to understand that, playing a violent video game, when you're playing the video game, you kill everybody. When you turn the video game off, you walk away, and that's it. You don't kill anybody in real life. I have the wherewithal in my brain to understand that if I kill somebody in real life, I had better be doing it in self-defense, or I'm going to go to prison. Okay? If your son or daughter or husband or wife or whatever the hell you want to call them, if you have a person in your house that is unhinged and you know it, what in the hell are you doing teaching them how to shoot a gun? I'm not going to blame every legal gun owner in the United States. And I'm not going to blame the NRA rant, but what are you doing teaching your son that you think is crazy to kill people? To shoot. I'm sorry, to shoot. To shoot at targets. Why are you teaching him that? There's no reason for it. And you got a guy living in your house. I don't care how old he is. If he's in your house, it's your house. Okay? You need to know. Why are you studying about all these mass murders, son? Why do you have images of kids being killed? Why are you interested in a rights group that wants to make pedophilia illegal? These are questions that need to be answered. Now, if you are in a position where you are like Mrs. Lanza, when you see this stuff going on, you can talk to a detective, probably go to the police department, ask for a detective. Probably call the crisis hotline or 911 but even if let's look, okay? You never ever give your crazy son a gun, period. You never ever let them use a gun, period. You keep them away from guns because they're crazy and they're not able to deal with it, period. Okay? You go to a police detective and you tell the police detective, detective, my son is a psychopath. I am deathly afraid he's going to kill people, including children. He has all this material in his room related to shooting schools and shooting up mass crime scenes and all this. The Amish, the Columbine. My son is studying serial murder. He's studying suicide techniques. Look at this picture of my son with a gun to his head. Okay? Now, even if the detective doesn't act on it, even if the detective is an idiot and throws you out of the office, at least you can live with yourself knowing that at least you opened your mouth. At least you try to do something. A lot of people say, like Yoda, Master Yoda says, there is no do. There's no try. There is do and do not. Okay? Master Yoda says there is no try. There is only do or do not. I say there is try. Okay? You might try and you might fail, but if you don't try, you've already failed. Mrs. Lanza did not try, that we are aware of, to tell the public or tell the authorities her son was a raving lunatic. Or she didn't know as much as she should have known. Okay? As far as we are aware of, things might change tomorrow, but as far as we are aware of, Mrs. Lanza did not actively pursue help for her son, or for herself, or for the kids for that matter. But at least you could live with yourself knowing you tried. That'll wait. Okay, I think we're done here. Please, just please, if this happens to you in real life, please tell someone. You don't want to look like a rat. I don't want to look like a rat either, but you know, would you rather be a rat for the rest of your life? Or would you rather sit around and be like, my nephew or my son killed 20 kids? Or, I'm dead now because he killed me too. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Thanks a lot.